Well, what's up, everybody? Welcome to our Move the Needle YouTube and podcast series. My name is Matthew Blades.
And Stephen Petz.
Or Steven Petz now. Are we making a shift?
It's funny. You
can't say that and not expect me to jump on that.
I was waiting for that. First of all, that's my real name.
Yeah.
My real name is Stephen. And since he said we should be announcing in 3-syllable cadence.
Oh, this is from the last podcast.
Exactly. I just
so you're going Steven Petz.
There you go.
Really?
Why not? Steve. You can call me Steve. You can call me Steven. My birth name is Steven, so why not?
All right,
Steve. You call me Steve. You call me Steven.
A lot right out of the gate. Episode 66. We're live at the Foothills Golf Club today. We would be inside the bunker, but the day we're actually taping, it's Veterans Day, and it is stacked in there. There must be
good news.
20 people in there having
packed. Yeah.
food and drinks. And so happy Veterans Day to those guys. We're hoping they enjoy it. So this week,
when we're comfortable here, we haven't been in this spot, but we've been here before.
Yeah.
We've had amazing shows right in this spot, so it's good to be back.
We got TJ Snyder, the assistant principal from DV on. Guy was all wrapped up in athletics forever, so it'll be fun to talk to him. Dr. Donna is one of my buddies that I met through the New Freedom Project, and she's a yoga practitioner as well. So we're going to talk to her about serving that under-marginalized community, especially those people that are behind the bars and trying to get their life together and figure some things out. But first, we're going to sit down with Sammy Williams, and we're going to talk about BTC. We're going to talk about cardiology. We're going to talk about all the writing that she is doing right now. Before we get to her, though, we do want to say thanks to all of our sponsors.
And how many do we have?
Man, it's just awesome. Maybe Richardson from Savvy Realty Group. Thank you so much. She's been with us since the beginning. Vero's Pizza, which actually sounds so delicious tonight.
Again, one of our home bases as well.
The Tudor Doctor, Duenas Eden Cravata, and Bella Set Lingerie.
Yes.
All here to party with us.
Yes.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's amazing. So thank you all. And those are all local sponsors in the community. We ask that you honor them. They're some of the best of the best.
We
demand that you honor them and give them a shot. I mean, all those people, they support us. They're in the community. So.
All right. You guys watch this, and when we come back, we'll sit down with Sammy.
Buying or selling a home is one of the most important decisions you're going to make, so you deserve someone who truly cares about your journey. I'm Amy Richardson with the Savvy Realty Group and HomeSmart. Living and raising my family in Ahwatukee for nearly 20 years, this community isn't just where I work, it's my home. Growing up in the Midwest, I learned early the importance of connections and relationships. These values shape everything I do. From our initial conversation to long after you've settled into your new home, I'm here to provide ongoing support and guidance. From staging to cutting-edge marketing strategies, we expertly showcase your home to sell swiftly for the highest possible price. So if you're ready to buy or sell, please reach out to me. And remember, important decisions require savvy solutions.
At Vero Chicago Pizza Ahwatukee, we focus on quality and a great pizza experience.
With over 30 years in the business, we've perfected our craft to bring you the best. Our pizzas are made with top quality ingredients, creating rich flavors that capture the essence of Chicago-style pizza. And our family recipes like the homemade meatballs and Italian beef sandwich add a special touch to our menu. Enjoying a meal at Vero is about more than just food. It's about making memories with friends and family in a welcoming space.
Join us at Vero Chicago Pizza Ahwatukee and taste the difference for yourself.
So welcome back, or welcome to our Move the Needle YouTube and podcast series. Sammy, it's great to have you here.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
I love it. Got the bright green on and the cream. She's looking sharp here at the Foothills Golf Club.
With the background, you blending beautifully with that.
I know.
Look at that. I didn't even notice.
This should be working for you.
It's like we have ESPN or something. I don't know.
ESPN, why not? Speaking of ESPN, you are a sports mom.
I am.
A big-time sports mom. Can you tell me a little bit about, I kind of want to get to know you. You've been in the Valley for like 20 years?
So yeah, grew up here, went to...
In Ahwatukee?
Not in Ahwatukee. I grew up in Mesa, went to Dobson High School, Go Mustangs. Met my husband there. We then transitioned over to Arizona State.
Wait, your high school sweethearts?
Yeah, we were more friends in high school and then reconnected at ASU, literally ran into each other on Palm Walk, for all you Sun Devils out there. So invited him to some sorority date parties just as a friend, and the rest is history. We've been married now for almost 23 years.
Well, congratulations.
Bravo. You guys got about a year on my wife and I.
Yeah.
I'm interested in something that you were just talking about, which is you guys met at ASU. So my son, and it sounds like you were in the fraternity.
In a sorority, yes.
Yeah, sorry.
Gamma Phi Beta.
So my son is at ASU right now, and he's just pledged, and he's in a fraternity now, and it's a world I know nothing about.
Oh.
I don't know anything about the sorority, anything about the fraternity. I don't understand Greek life. I don't know what the symbols mean. How was your experience?
My experience, I think, was something that made ASU a lot smaller for me. So at the time when I graduated Dobson High School, it was the largest high school in Arizona. So
Really?
I graduated with like 900 kids, right?
Oh my
So
goodness.
you go to this huge campus, right? You know, tens of thousands of kids, and you don't want to just hang out with your high school friends. So you start to find your group, and I'm an only child, so the sisterhood aspect really appealed to me. I took the sorority experience so far that I actually worked for Gamma Phi Beta for a year after college. I was hired along with 5 other girls to go around to the different chapters. I think there was about 150 chapters throughout the U.S. and Canada.
Wow.
And just kind of keep an eye on them for the international organization. And didn't pay much, but was a great way to see the country. You know, Waterloo, Iowa in February.
It's about as good as it gets.
It is.
Yeah, you'll
Sounds
never want to
fun.
go back. You'll
Yeah.
never. Did you do frat life?
Do not do the frat life.
No.
Interesting. Most of the universities in Boston do not allow fraternities or sororities on
Interesting.
campus. So they do have them, but they're kind of off campus, which almost kind of loses the whole feel. There are a lot of them.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So they do have them. They're not as prevalent, I should say. Boston College, I believe, has them, but most other schools do not. So I do not know about it, and I was just fine with that. We formed our own little club. And
course
so
you did.
shout out to the
Stephen
boys.
Pets.
Shout out to What It Is. That was
All
just
right.
called.
What it is.
What it is.
So okay, so then you guys meet. You go to ASU.
Yep.
You get what was your first gig? What did you do after school?
Okay, so graduate from Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at ASU when it was
Shout
still at the
out.
Tempe campus. So I'm pretty old school. At that time, it's 2001. We're just on the precipice of 9/11, so the job market's still good. I get a job at the Arizona Heart Institute and Hospital. Knowing nothing about medicine, but was hired to...
Yeah, it was like, where's the Cronkite connection to
Yeah, so, but I was lucky enough to live or to work next door to some of the greatest cardiology minds in the Valley at that time who were so patient with me, teaching me the art and the science of cardiology and cardiothoracic surgery. So that I
Did you bring you in surgeries?
Absolutely.
Whoa,
So,
come on, stop. Tell me what you saw. I'm dying.
So I watched coronary artery bypass surgery, which at that time involved stopping the heart opening the chest.
Cracking the chest open.
Cracking the chest.
Wow, deep stuff.
Really deep stuff. I think the most memorable part of that surgery was watching them take a sterile pitcher of ice water and pour it into the chest cavity to stop the heart. So
I
that
gotta
was...
take my glasses off.
Yeah, that was a little
That's
shocking.
incredible.
It was incredible.
Cracked open pitcher of ice. Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's
I
amazing.
saw it all.
That's amazing.
I saw an endarterectomy. So
What's
your
that?
carotid arteries, which
Yeah.
feed your brain
Yeah.
on either side of your neck, when they get blocked with plaque, they'll do an incision here and go in and literally scrape out the plaque. So I'm right there as they're pulling chunks of plaque out of this poor patient's arteries. And I mean, that makes you never want to smoke or eat anything
I
horrible
know.
again.
I know. Yeah, we were talking about it before she jumped on about Peter Attia and Medicine 3.0 and all of the nuances in medicine now and how exciting that is, which maybe we'll get to in a little bit. But
Yes.
I'm just judging from your reaction. You're not high on the surgery channel.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I don't like to see the blood in the guts.
Really?
No, not my deal.
I think it's
Not
fascinating.
me. I don't mind. It's interesting. I don't mind myself.
Mm-hmm.
I like if I was bleeding, I could stop myself. It doesn't
Sure.
go so. But others, I don't
Like
like
if your
to
kids get hurt.
or anybody. I don't like to see
Yeah.
other people maimed or bleeding. It's just,
Well, I don't either. I don't know that anybody does.
Anyways, yeah. I just
It was all in the name of education.
Yeah,
Steve.
Right.
I would skip. I just say I take your word for it. It was amazing. That was a great description. It didn't need to be there.
Yeah.
She did a great job.
Yeah. So did you end up in the world of medicine then?
So after that job at the Arizona Heart Institute and Hospital, I was actually laid off, and I had just just gotten married. My husband and I had just bought a brand new car. And
happy birthday.
Happy birthday. We worked about a mile from each other. He's a civil engineer. He does traffic and transportation engineering here in the Valley. And we would often carpool. And that morning, the HR director came in and told me and my boss, the PR director, that they were outsourcing public relations to an agency. And they gave me a cardboard box, and I walked downstairs crying and called my husband and I said, please come pick me up. And cried all the way home. This is my first big girl job, right? The thing I dreamed about at ASU doing.
So tough.
But it was honestly the best thing that ever happened to me. I had worked with a lot of pharmaceutical reps and medical device reps in my role in public relations at the clinic. And I thought, what a cool job. I wonder how you get it. Do you have to be a pharmacist? I don't know. So I talked to one of my friends who was the nurse at the clinic, and she gave me every business card that she had. And I cold called. This is 2003 at this point. I cold called people and asked them about their job and if they had any openings. And I was lucky enough to get hired on and did that for almost 20 years.
I wonder, there's not a straight line being drawn from Walter Cronkite School of Broadcasting and Journalism to pharmaceutical sales.
There's not.
But I have to believe that your ability to be inquisitive, curious, to be in that journalism space is probably what separated you from other salespeople, because you were just sort of this naturally curious person.
I think that was a big part of it. I think relationships have always been really important to me. I have a very close family, very close relationships with my friends, and I knew that being curious about a doctor's work, about what got them into medicine, about what they like doing, what are the things that really make them tick, asking questions. That's what I learned at the Walter Cronkite School, was just to ask good questions.
Oh, it's so cool. See, good for Cronkite.
Speaking of great questions, you got amazing, great questions with Sammy before the show, because I knew nothing about
I need to get a little bit of the lay of the
land. You got to catch me up. All I was here was to talk about BTC, which I know we're going to get to, which was the exciting how Sammy came to me.
We started right with the sports mom, and so that'll lead us there.
That'll lead us there. But it's amazing you had this whole thing that I didn't find anything on. Great job.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
Really,
I was using my own journalism.
I
skills.
was going to say, that's what I was going to say. Great job.
But you're not even doing that now.
I'm not.
You segued into,
No.
I was reading online, here's a great website, by the way, that we'll link to in our show notes, but there's this big thing. It says, what can Sammy do for me? And it's like copywriting, editing, research, project management, customer identification, referral management, sales and marketing, business development. So you just got, you've got your own little agency now.
I do. So for 7 years, I've had my business Solutions by Sammy, and I've been fortunate enough to work with many companies. I've worked with startups, I've worked with Fortune 100 companies, and again, it's to ask the right questions and tell their story to their customers. And currently I'm working with a really cool AI company in the behavioral health space. I've worked with life sciences companies, medicine, engineering. So every day I go into my laundry room, which is also my office, and I get to be creative.
Must be a giant laundry room.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, in the morning when my brain is fresh and I've had my coffee, it's really a lot of fun to be able to put words on a page and tell the story that these businesses are so desperately wanting to get above the noise. You guys work in media, you know how hard it is. And to help a business grow, that's really one of my huge passions.
Yeah, I say it all the time. I think most people don't have a content issue. They have a packaging or presentation issue.
It's so true.
Yeah, it's like, you got all the ingredients here. We just need to make a different salad from what we've got going on.
Could not agree more.
Yeah, right? Yeah, it's so cool. All right.
Well, obviously, you're in the right spot to help BTC, and it's a treasure for you to be there.
What is BTC? Do you know?
I know a little bit about. I know it's a charity organization, a parent, and it introduces young men in particular with a parent, usually a dad, but could be a mom, correct?
Yeah.
Could be a mom, one of the other parents, and it gets them involved in charity work. Probably in the beginning, something that probably encouraged, there's a question for you, probably encouraged by the parent, but then takes on probably a life of its own, right? The young men kind of, take it on, stepping in. I want to hear about how that
how do you do on that
how's that
description?
progression? Yeah, I do.
Excellent segue
nice
into
job, buddy. Stephen
Boys
Pence.
Team Charity, which is one of my passion projects. I've been on the board of Boys Team Charity Ahwatukee for the last 2 years. So I have 2 sons who are in 7th and 10th grade. They are both members. So Boys Team Charity was actually started here in Phoenix in 2001. They now have 43 leagues across the nation. The Ahwatukee League league was formed in 2017. So we now have about 200 members who are boys 7th through 12th grade and their families. And so our mission is really to create an altruistic spirit in these young men. What we found is there were a lot of service organizations for young women, National Charity League being one of them.
So many for women, you're
right.
Yeah,
so we wanted a chance for our boys to get involved in the community in any way that they wanted to. We have some boys who really like a fast-paced charity project. So they'll do things like St. Mary's Food Bank, packing boxes for 2 hours. They'll do things like Feed My Starving Children, to pack food packets.
They're getting their hands in the project.
They're getting their hands on it, right?
Makes sense.
So we've got 26 partner charities here in the Valley, and we'll do everything from feeding the hungry, working with homeless animals, working with homeless individuals. We've got great passion projects like the Alzheimer's Association that we just added. You can find anything you want. If you're a sports person, we work with organizations like Top Soccer who help kids with developmental disabilities play soccer. We've got a lot of different things for every family to do. And as a mom, I really love it because, you know, in this phase of life, it seems like boys are with their dads, right? Like they're with their dads for sports, they're with their dads for hobbies, they're identifying with dad. This has been a way that my boys and I have really found to connect.
Yeah, how special is that? You know, because I mean, look, I'm a boy dad. I have 2 boys, right? 19 and 17. They're not drawn to this work, but what's interesting is once you get them inside the door, they typically have a great time and they really enjoy it. Was that your experience as well?
They do, and they're in teams by their graduation class. So, for example, my older son's team, class of 2028, they have 30 kids. So they have an opportunity to meet about 3 times a year as a class, and they'll do everything from just team bonding and charity projects to life skills. We've had barbecue classes, laundry classes, we've had car maintenance classes.
Yes.
So they get an opportunity to do some leadership. We elect class officers. Their parents also get leadership opportunities like being on the board, being a philanthropy liaison. And I think what probably a lot of boy families are thinking is like, oh, my boys are involved in a lot of activities and sports. How do we fit this in? At BTC, we make it very easy. So our 7th through 9th graders, they have to do 15 hours per year. And so our year runs May through April. And then our upperclassmen, so our 10th through 12th graders, only have to do 10 hours. And we publish a calendar of all of the philanthropy opportunities so you can see what works for your family. If you're like, oh, we have got sports on the weekend,
cool.
We've got weekday opportunities available, we've got evening, morning. Today's a holiday, so a lot of people are volunteering today. So it's one of those things that you really can fit in as a family because we make it so easy for you to do that.
Bravo.
Sammy, can you share the growth that you've seen in your boys? What that experience has been for you as a mom?
Oh, I mean, my boys, I think, are really interested in the things that they're interested in that moment, right? So it's like whatever we're doing, they're all in.
They're all in.
You know, one morning I said, we've got to wake up early. We've got to go over to the healing field. So if you're not familiar with the healing fields, Tempe Beach Park, for every victim of 9/11, they put up an American flag every September 11th. And so Boys Team Charity was honored to help with that this year. And so we woke up early, we planted flags along with hundreds of other volunteers and stepped back and watched the sunrise and heard taps playing. And, you know, just that connection, that moment with my boys, you know, seeing this very special event that 2001, they weren't even alive. They don't even understand the significance of it, but they did that day.
That's really cool. Yeah. A moment you'll never forget.
Never forget. Right. And I mean, we'll do things that really help them realize maybe their privilege and, you know, kind of put things in perspective, like walking around with school-age children at our back-to-school drives, and we're helping them fill a backpack with uniforms, shoes, underwear, socks, new books. Some of them had never even had a new book that belonged to them.
Right.
School supplies and getting them set up for the coming year. So it wasn't just a bag from Target that showed up like it might for my boys at the beginning of the year. This is something that was truly meaningful and special to kids who didn't have maybe the same opportunities.
I love that. It's such an important thing, and something I just pray every day that I'm doing a good job with my boys is to help them understand their privilege and help them understand like how much easier they have it than a lot of people. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, planting that seed of charity in your kids' heart is just it's so important. A lot of them run with it. They're the leaders that we see. They're 5-10 years they're the one leading the organizations. we've seen that.
Let's hope so.
All over. Yeah. we've
So
seen it.
I was reading online, Tucson's got a division, Catalina Foothills, and then it's Sonoran Fiesta, Santan, Roadrunner, North Valley, Camelback, Cactus, Biltmore, Ahwatukee, Phoenix, Scottsdale. These are all the different chapters in. How does somebody get involved with the Ahwatukee chapter?
Sure. So if you'll just go on our website, it's really long, so either we can link it or I can have you just Google.
We'll link it in the show notes easily.
Boys Team Charity, Ahwatukee. So the membership, again, is for this next coming year. We're going to have our membership drive starting on March 1st. So if you are a current 6th grader up to a current 11th grader, you can join Boys Team Charity as of next year. The zip codes that we serve are all 3 Ahwatukee zip codes, so 85044, 45, and 48. We also have 2 South Tempe zip codes, so that's going to be 85283 and 84, as well as West Chandler, which is 85226. So if you live in those zip codes and you've got a son in currently 6th to 11th grade, they can join us during our new member drive, which starts in March.
How about it?
I love it.
All right, what's the big hit?
And before-
I warned her. I was like, Steve's going to ask you something crazy. Just get ready.
I don't know how crazy this is, but it's again for our audience, and it's a BTC question.
Yes.
When the boys grow up, what's one thing you hope they'll still do the BTC way?
Ooh,
That's a really good question.
Man. Bravo. Stephen Pets.
I love it.
Must be the new name.
Stevie Pets too.
I think for my boys, what they've gained from BTC is a sense of community. I don't know if my boys will still live in Ahwatukee when they're adults, but I hope that wherever they end up, that they feel connected somehow to the people, the causes, and to the hardships in the communities that they live in.
It's a good thing to instill in them for sure. Well, thanks for jumping on with us today.
Yeah, this was such a pleasure,
Yeah.
guys.
Yes,
Thanks for
I love
having
it.
me.
Really
Amazing.
appreciate
Glad
that.
we connected.
We'll link
Fantastic.
to all of this goodness in our show notes, and we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to sit down with Dr. Donna and talk yoga and reform in the prison system and all kinds of really cool stuff. So hang tight.
Hi, I'm Kim Selchin, owner of Tutor Doctor of Ahwatukee, Chandler, and Gilbert. We understand every student is unique, which is why we meet them where they feel most at ease, whether online, at home, or in a public space. Our academic coaching is designed to help even the brightest students overcome organizational challenges, sharpen study skills, and build confidence, empowering them to achieve their best. From kindergarten to adult, we believe every student can be successful. We also have expert SET and ACT coaches to help teens with college admissions and scholarships. I'm excited to learn how we can partner with your family to help today's learners become tomorrow's successful adults.
For over 2 decades, Culture Infinity has believed luxury begins with how you're treated. From the moment you walk in, you're welcomed by experts who know luxury and value relationships. And our white glove service meets you the moment you arrive. Simple, friendly, and effortless. We're more than a dealership. We're part of this community, committed to giving back, supporting families, and earning your trust. Infinity's award-winning lineup, designed for families, for drivers, for those who expect more. Culture Infinity, a dealership that cares. Come experience the difference.
What's up, and welcome back to our Move the Needle YouTube and podcast series. We're sitting down now with Dr. Donna. Is it Jagielski?
Jagielski.
Jagielski. Okay, all right. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
We have some mutual friends and connections. We both are very fond of a place called the New Freedom Project, which I'm sure is going to
Absolutely.
come up in our conversation today. But you're kind of all about the yoga mat.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, if there's when you go look online about Dr. Donna, that is like the one thing that screams is like, get on the mat. I think you're even famous for saying the healing begins on the yoga mat.
Yeah, it absolutely does.
So,
In every respect.
in every
Mental
respect,
and physical.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you're a yoga dude.
Yes,
Mentally,
big time.
physically,
I can't wait to
spiritually.
hear about this, yeah.
Absolutely.
When
Yes.
when did you find yoga for yourself?
I found it over 20 years ago.
Really? Okay.
Yes. I have dealt with depression, anxiety for many years.
Okay.
The acronyms, OCD, overachiever, perfectionist, that has been me all my life because of a lot of childhood traumas that I dealt with. So I actually, for a long time, found a lot of just healing, solitude on the mat. Yes, I mean between my faith and my yoga mat, it was many times. I mean, I've been really blessed with the yoga teachers that I've had throughout my practice, going back 20 years ago, where they just allowed me to just be on my mat. That if it just meant curling up in a ball and crying and just laying there, and it was healing.
Now, did I read that you're an Ahwatukee resident?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
and work at Grand Canyon University too?
Yes.
Okay, so let's digest a little bit of this, because we are recording at the Foothills Golf Club, which is, by the way, open, gorgeous. The
Amazing.
course is
Yes.
unbelievable. We were out there on the driving range taking some lessons, my wife and I, a couple of weeks ago, and it looks beautiful. When did you come to Ahwatukee?
A little over 20 years ago. Originally born and raised in Chicago.
Sorry about that.
No, came out here for the
That's
great
a little
weather.
jab. That's just
great
a jab.
weather. Great weather.
My whole family's from Chicago.
Okay.
All my wife's family, I should say, is from Chicago.
Yeah.
So that's where I take my jabs.
Absolutely
Yeah.
loved it. But yeah, I actually started my career in dance and dance education.
Get it.
And I was very, very always drawn to working with populations of youth that were underserved, underrepresented.
Yeah.
I really refer to them as the invisible population.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
And Title I schools that were eligible for free lunch, free breakfast, everything. And I've really come full circle because the schools that I was teaching in back in Chicago public schools and everything, I remember vividly that when we talk about academics, I think it's really interesting, and the focus that youth have or don't have on their academics, and it's basically because they're distracted, and they're distracted because they're not getting the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I mean, they're not being met. And I remember very vividly because I was teaching my first year teaching in an arts magnet school, and the art teacher was getting ready to take them on a field trip to the Art Institute, and the kids were disinterested, and she was trying to get them motivated and everything, and one kid said, "I want to go on a field trip to the prison because that's where I'm going to see my dad." And the rest of the kids then felt comfortable to chime in, and I was like, wow, we're not meeting the kids' needs.
Right.
And I also then felt amazing that they felt so safe that in our arts program to feel comfortable saying that, because
So cool.
unfortunately a lot of kids don't feel comfortable voicing that. And for years I taught in schools where I worked with the rest of the team to allow kids to retest and everything because of that reason. I mean, they were awake at night because of, drive-by shootings, all these things disrupting.
Being hungry.
Being hungry, everything like that. And, kids that were really, really concerned about the fact that maybe their parent couldn't attend, a field trip. They couldn't be a chaperone because they were worried about their parent clearing, a fingerprint clearance, a background check, anything like that. And, so many times that we would be sitting there hours and hours that families wouldn't come for a parent-teacher conference, or, that they wouldn't show up for the play. And it's, again, the invisible families, that the kids maybe didn't want to say.
You just don't realize, Donna, how tangled that web is.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, there's just so many tentacles to how complicated that whole thing is, isn't there? And it just seems like there's layers upon layers upon layers. So you said something interesting that I think makes a lot of sense, which is we have this idea of how we want to treat that invisible population, but then the population, if we listen to them, says, no, actually, this is what we'd like.
Right.
So as you work with these populations, what are they sharing with you? How can folks interact with them, get in community with them?
Yeah,
How can we make them more visible?
Right. I think a big factor is developing a very safe environment. And that's why in, our yoga organization, Blessings Balanced Breath Yoga, we collaborate with what really sets us apart is that number one, we collaborate with a lot of other organizations, a lot of other nonprofits to customize a yoga program for them.
That's smart.
Like with Persevere. Persevere is a great example where we've customized.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah,
what is that?
Persevere is a program that they provide an entire program where they learn how to be a full stack developer, website development and everything, and it starts while they're incarcerated. And then when they leave as part of re-entry, they come out with a full certification where they can be full stack development. So we come in as the yoga organization to provide a yoga program for them that is customized, that knowing that they're going to be sitting in a chair, they already are sitting in a chair with very limited tools to practice yoga inside of a prison. They don't have blocks, they don't have straps, everything. What do? What do they have? They have their breath, they have their mind, they have their
So
body.
smart. I was just sitting here thinking, like, what a great skill to have if I'm locked up.
Right.
Like, not only am I going to get exercise, but I might connect with myself, and I might learn some things about myself, and I might do some things that change the way I behave.
Yeah.
And I know that's what you're hoping is going to happen, right?
Exactly. And that they're going to be sitting in a chair most of the time during the day as they work. So how can you apply self-care while you're sitting so much? Because we know that, sitting is contributing to cardiovascular disease,
Right.
diabetes, everything like that. And we're not used to, so much of the population that we work with is not used to advocating for themselves. So we work with them on how to advocate for themselves. So
Remember when we had Megan Murphy on? We
Yes.
interviewed her right here.
Yeah.
And she was the one talking about the New Freedom Project.
Correct.
What's your involvement with New Freedom Project?
I absolutely love it because
I know, I love this place too.
Yes, I actually work for New Freedom itself, so we are very, very close to New Freedom Project, and I see Megan on a regular basis. I just saw her last week.
She's so fantastic.
She is, absolutely. And I'm the health and wellness teacher there. So I integrate a lot of the practices of yoga because what really we miss in a lot of our Western Americanized culture when it comes to yoga is that yoga encompasses a lot more than just the physical postures. And I like to refer to them as postures because when we talk about poses, we talk about like poses, like we have to be all perfect and a cover, and everything like that. And it's about acceptance and inner beauty and inner strength and everything of that nature. And
Steve does a lot of yoga.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, big time. I love hot yoga. I'm a big beaker. I started a beak room.
Yeah.
Probably about 10 years going.
Really?
Love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And what I'm so intrigued, I don't mean to interject. All these things that you're talking about, teaching in incarceration, New Freedom, these are mostly men, correct?
Yes, I actually teach the men at New Freedom.
Which is, to me, is groundbreaking in itself. It's yoga, I don't know if you know this, has just traditionally not been a man's sport. So you're kind of breaking dual grounds. Now, I think it absolutely is. I love it for all those reasons you said, mentally, physically,
Spiritually.
Yes.
I loved every teacher. You take from each teacher, each experience in itself. But really, now there's more men practicing. But again, like to me, that seems like a challenge itself. I try to get a lot of my other buddies to come.
Yeah.
They're starting to, they're coming more. But again, like talk about that. Is that anything? Or are they eager? It's like
They are. They
That's
actually
great.
are. They're very curious about Ayurveda practices,
Wow.
everything like that. And
Interesting.
If we think about really the history of yoga, dial it all the way back thousands of years, it was actually a men's practice.
there we go.
Yes.
Dialing
And
it,
in
bringing
India,
it back.
You're learning it right here on Move the Needle.
We're bringing it back home.
We are, yeah.
I should be teaching. That's what.
And
should be
it was
teaching.
the intention not on the asanas and the postures, but the intention was to develop the one-pointed focus, the concentration, filtering out all the distractions so you could meditate. And it's really been in our Western culture now that it's adopted now by women in Lululemon, gear.
Mostly
And
women.
not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's very interesting how the culture has shifted that.
Big time.
Yeah.
You know, what's cool is for those that have never had the experience of New Freedom Project, I mean, you walk in there and, right, everybody that's in the building was in jail, you know, a few weeks ago or a few months ago or something like that. And some of them, you know, fit into a physical stereotype where, you know, they look like they got the prison tats and they're jacked up and they're strong. But these guys I have found are the gentlest.
Absolutely.
I mean, they were hard, I'm sure, back in their day, but there's a little boy inside every one of those young men that you're working with.
Absolutely.
And I just wonder how many times they are on the mat and they begin a healing journey.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Does it happen?
Yes, and I have seen the transformation in so many ways, in so many levels, because I used to actually work at Perryville. In the education department, and then I went back, and now with my yoga organization, teaching yoga. I've seen it on the level, off the charts with our youth, because we've been leading the yoga program with the Maricopa County Juvenile Detention Center for over 4 years now. And
so are you guys inside Durango too?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yes, in Durango.
How come we never do we see each other there?
I don't think so.
I don't think we've ever seen each other
Sundays.
there.
We're there on Sundays.
I'm there during the week.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's
Passing by each other.
I know. Two ships in the night.
It's interesting because back in 2021 is when the summer of 2021 when we started the program, and it was one unit of girls, which consisted of less than a dozen.
Yeah, right.
And now,
if you're lucky.
Oh yeah, and now we are serving 3 units, and actually 2 out of the 3 are the boys units.
Amazing.
And it is a really big shift for them to actually learn how to slow down.
Oh, yeah.
Because they come in initially and they're like, we're going to do push-ups, we're going to do plank and everything. And I'm like, you know what? You're achieving the greatest amount of benefit when you're still. And you're just acknowledging your breath.
The breath.
And you're allowing your breath to guide the movement.
I will go out on a limb and I will say I'm going to say 90% of that population, when they work with you, I bet it's the first time in their life they've ever been regulated.
Yes.
Like, I bet it's the first time ever their nervous system has gone to a place where they can actually just
Bring 'em down,
think
bring
about
'em
who
down.
they are and what they want to do in life. I mean, do you feel like that's accurate?
Yes,
Oh,
it is
okay.
true. And I mean, now we've actually got the numbers and the data, to support that.
Great.
And, the supervisor that I work with that, schedules everything, Mark Easton, has noticed just a decline in the conflict, in the anxiety,
Yes.
in the anger,
Yes.
everything. And what really, really just blows my mind and brings tears to my eyes is that weeks, later, I'll have a youth that'll come back to me and said, you know what, I was really upset about something, and I used that click, 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 that roller coaster breath, and it helped me. And I'm like, they're remembering this, and I'm like,
So good.
wow.
I know.
Yeah, I honestly didn't know how to breathe until yoga.
Oh, right.
I mean, it's really taught me in all situations really how to, even here, like really you just, it's your concentration, it's your level, that breathing in through your nose.
And the belly breathing.
And out through your nose, in through your nose, out through your nose. Really, it's really what it is. It just brings your heart down and just brings you down. I know what it brings you.
Do you teach somatic breathing?
Yes,
You do? Okay.
I do. Yes,
Yeah, okay.
and I have a visual demonstration that I've used throughout my practice.
Can you break it out now?
My breathing, I might have been describing a different breathing. I was using the
No, that's a version of breath work for sure.
In through the nose, out through the nose.
Right.
What do they call it? The
Ujjayi breath.
Yes.
So what's your visual?
My visual is very, very easy. I have 3 sponges that I have written on those sponges, and they're like super easy. You can do it on yoga blocks or sponges that you get at the dollar store. And I have breath, mind, and body. Okay. And what I do is I show these to, the gentlemen that I work with, the ladies at Perryville, the youth, and I stack them up and say, you know what? When we are in a good state of mind, when we're aligned and everything is stacked evenly. Our breath, our mind, our body. And our breath guides that. Once our breath is out of alignment, now the body starts to tense, the mind starts to race, the negative thoughts, everything. And then I scatter those, and I scatter or just move one out of alignment, out of those sponges. And then they get to really see and dial it back. Oh, all those times it was my breath became shortened, and now my mind started to race, negative thoughts, I became tense. So if we learn how to balance, how to control that breath, bam, muscular tension goes down, heart rate goes down. Now we're able to reframe our thoughts and rewrite the narrative.
You know what I'm thinking about is, we're going to have TJ Snyder on from DV next, and he's assistant principal at a high school. And I'm like, we should be doing this for our kids.
Absolutely.
Like, our kids should be starting with this every day.
Yes. And luckily we are starting that because, like I said, I came from public education, so I'm very familiar with DV and everything. And, several years ago, we broke through the barrier because there were a lot of mixed signals thinking that yoga was a religion and we can't bring religion into the schools. So I'm like, no, we think about the 8 limbs of yoga.
This is breath work.
Yeah, exactly. And now we have evolved to a place where there are more and more schools that have a mindfulness corner and that are seeing that when they're introducing these practices, it's impacting test scores. It's
of course
impacting, their conflict management, everything.
Gosh, you just but it's such a hard thing to ingrain in people's minds that don't understand that we have to slow down to go faster.
Absolutely.
Like we have to slow down to do more.
Right.
But then there's another aspect. I'm going to talk about real quick the physical aspect of yoga.
Sure.
Which when your whole body, because it is a workout. When your body feels good, you feel good. Your mind feels good. So it's another, that physicalness.
The sponges.
It's back to that. And so I've actually got hurt in the gym a few months back. Out of all the stretches, out of all the exercises, what's made me come back or my body come back the quickest and feel the best is the yoga. When I'm done with the yoga session, the next day a little sore, but the next day after, things back in place. And so
what is it about yoga that helps him restore like that?
I think for the most part, it's knowing your body. Once you know what you need. And unfortunately, a lot of our Western and American practice is like, do what I say and everything, and in yoga classes. And I always make the announcement, this is your time, This is your practice. You know your body better than anyone else.
Right.
And sometimes all you need is to just lay there on the mat, on your back, or whatever it is, that 45 minutes of just pure relaxation. Listen to your body.
And what I found, Don, is a lot of times when you go through the practice, you'll get in a pose and you'll be like, oh, that's the pose that you'll hit it. That's like, okay. And it's stretching that. It's
the posture, not the pose, the posture.
The pose, it's the posture. It's both. But it's you're hitting the spot. Anyways, it's worked. It's just it's a mind, body, spirit that's really unequal to almost any other workout.
Oh yeah. It's building that self-awareness. And I have really learned quite a bit because also now I'm in a yoga therapy program.
Oh, very cool.
It's with Yoga Faith. And so it's pulling everything together. And it is really moving the practice in a healing aspect. So it's not that we're trying to, cure diseases or anything like that, but to reduce the symptoms, make you become more aware of what your body is trying to tell you and what your body needs.
Love this. All right, we could talk all day. You got any last minute wrap up questions?
Again, all the things I read about Dr. Don has been amazing. I want to know, if you could put one of your life lessons on a billboard, what would it say?
I would say it would be acceptance, radical acceptance.
Radical, period, acceptance, period.
Radical acceptance of self and others. Absolutely.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank
for
you.
coming on to talk about New Freedom Project and all the work that you're doing. And we didn't even get into the Grand Canyon stuff, that for another time. Maybe we'll see you around the Tuque. What part of the Tuque are you in? Are you down the foothills? Are you up by Equestrian? Where
Actually,
are you?
over by Trader Joe's around
Oh,
40th
right
and
on.
Chandler.
Well,
Right
then
down the
I
street.
guarantee
Yeah.
I'll see you at the Trader Joe's. 'Cause we're there all the
Absolutely.
time.
Yes.
We're there all the time. All right, thank you,
Thank
Donna.
you.
Thank you
Really
so
appreciate
much.
that.
You're
All right,
welcome.
we're going to take a really quick break. When we come back, we're going to sit down with TJ and talk a little DV. Hang tight.
What makes Bella Set lingerie so unique? For starters, check out the vast selection and size range. Cups from A to K in styles like balcony, plunge, wireless, strapless, and more, including mastectomy and maternity bras. With superior customer service and free professional fittings, it's the go-to bra shop in the East Valley. Locally owned, with 2 locations in Ahwatukee and Gilbert. Check out our glowing reviews on Google and Yelp. Visit bellasetlingerie.com to learn more.
Divorce is never easy. It's emotional, uncertain, and deeply personal. That's why at Dueña Seed and Cravata, we start by listening.
Unlike large firms, we specifically limit our case size, so your case never gets lost. We guide you through divorce, custody, and property division with clarity and care. Some lawyers equate aggression with success. We know better. We lead with compassion, integrity, and unwavering advocacy, because protecting families requires more than a courtroom fight.
At Dueña Seed and Cravata, we're more than attorneys. We're your partners for tomorrow.
Well, welcome back. This is it. We've got TJ Snyder in the hot seat now from Desert Vista, where my boys went and graduated from.
And my son and daughter as well.
Yeah.
Well,
So I bet
it's a
you know.
pleasure to be here.
I bet you know all of our kids.
Yes. Yes.
Maybe that's good. Maybe that's not. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
They
What
did okay.
What is your role now? You're assistant principal now. Are you involved with athletics anymore? Are
Right
you-
now, I am assistant principal of academics. I was
Okay.
an athletic director for 8 years, and then a couple years ago, when the athletic director left in the middle of the year because she took a job at ASU Prep,
Okay.
I actually did both jobs. So I was athletic director and doing academics. So a lot of fun, a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
But I mean, to be in a district for 20 years is kind of a gift.
Yeah, 30
now.
30 years. Yeah,
In Tempe Union.
Yeah, I was an all at Desert Vista. I opened up Desert Vista. I did my student teaching over at Mountain Point. Back in 95, 96, and then 96 I got hired when Desert Vista, the actual building, opened.
Does it look the same as it did then?
No, we've added a few more buildings.
What have you added?
Yeah, we've added the H building, which is the dance studio, and then the 6 classrooms that have been used primarily by world languages.
Okay.
And then in, I want to say about 2012, we built the new weight room / concession stand and restroom for dual purpose for athletics for the stadium, but also because we ran out of space within our PE department. So,
Right.
we put a lot of emphasis on our advanced PE program, which is our sport-specific training, and that was the key ingredient was space. So we were able to build that building. We took out, I guess, probably about 6 basketball courts to put that building in, but yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. So would the people who graduated in, say, 95, 96, 97, would they recognize it now when they went back?
Actually, our first graduating year was we had 3 seniors.
Okay.
Who graduated early, and that was that would have been 99, I believe,
99,
if I remember
okay,
right.
okay.
They all blend together now after
Yeah, right.
going on 30 years. Actually, the very first graduate is actually a teacher at Desert Vista, and that's Amanda Go.
Amanda goes.
Stop it.
Yes.
The woman that you were just telling us about over there?
Yeah. She does the yoga program, but she technically was the first graduate. She graduated as a junior, but because
That's so cool.
But because of the alphabet, and her last name started with a G, she was the first technical
Amazing.
graduate.
Amanda, when I was also coaching the DV hockey program, we got her involved back then. She was working with the boys. The boys, they listened to her.
Oh,
She
yeah.
got their attention. She's amazing with that.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
She is awesome. So that's a funny fact that she was
Wow.
our first graduate,
I did not know that.
and she's working there now. And she's been working there quite a few years.
That is so freaking awesome. I mean, you've seen everything at that school.
Yeah, I've seen a lot. I've seen not everything, but I've seen a lot.
Yeah. You know, our next door neighbor is Mr. Walter.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just moved into our hood, him and his wife, about a year ago. And so...
Who's Mr. Walter?
Oh, he's one of the other assistant principals.
Yeah, he's assistant principal of activities,
Okay.
Yeah.
I know that. Did not know
Yeah,
that.
my boys are always, buttering him up, for the things they may or may not need at.
Interesting.
What is the state of Desert Vista right now? I mean, we're hearing so much stuff in the news about schools that may be doing this and going away, and I just wonder, how do the staff feel? How do you guys feel every day? Do you still feel supported? Do you feel like the world is going crazy?
Yeah,
or?
you know what? Absolutely. I mean, it's a statewide thing, and as far as I know, I believe it's a national thing as far as just students and enrollment. It's about competition, quite frankly, and you gotta put out a good product. I believe that Desert Vista has continuously put out a good product over the years. Although we have dropped in enrollment, we were roughly around about 3,100 at one point, and now we're down to about 2,800.
Okay.
But with that is, it gives us, I think, more opportunities to work with kids and get to know kids a little bit better. But as far as the support, our community has been very supportive. For Desert Vista and Tempe Union, which also includes Mountain Point. But I've always said it. We're very fortunate to work in a community like Ahwatukee. I grew up in Ahwatukee.
Cool, man.
I moved to Ahwatukee from outside of Hershey, Pennsylvania in 1981. So I lived on the Warner Elliott Loop there. Went to Los Lomas, starting my third grade year.
Unbelievable,
and
man.
then my family built a house in Canyon Heights, which at that time, back in 80, I think it was 86 or 87, Corpus Christi Church was not there yet. That was a empty lot. I may not have hit some range balls into the mountain over there a little bit.
That's what they wanted you to do.
Out of my backyard. But yeah, so funny fact, when we moved 1981, there was only about 4 or 5 houses, including the House of the Future, in Equestrian Trail. So when I moved, my neighbor and I would go over and we would maybe repurpose some wood.
Yes.
And we'd make ramps and
Good.
Oh yeah, the
stuff.
fun stuff.
Oh yeah, we'd build
Good.
stuff. So, but yeah, so I've been a proud resident of Ahwatukee for quite a few years. I live in Chandler currently, but it's been a
what's
great
the biggest
place.
shift that you've noticed in just kids in general over the last 30 years? Is how much, and I this probably plays into it, but how much has the phone impacted learning?
It's hard to say. I believe it is a distraction.
Yeah.
But the way I look at technology, it just continues to replace other things.
For sure.
I make the joke that because I went to Corona del Sol when I was in high school, we were worried about little tape recorders and Polaroid cameras, being out and about. And now, unfortunately, with our phones, I don't think sometimes the kids understand how powerful that little microprocessor that is comparable to some computers.
Yeah, right.
What comes with great power comes great responsibility.
There it is.
And it's tough, with the phones. But, in looking at education, I think we go in phases. I think we go in cycles of things. And now,
what phase are we in right now?
You know what? I think we're in a phase of more so in just public education in general. It's just a phase of trying to keep kids engaged. With AI coming into the picture now, that's a whole new piece that, quite frankly, a lot of people are, including our staff, are starting to want to learn more and more about. And how implementing that, but also to keep the integrity of the curriculum and the coursework for kids, because it's all at the fingertips of our kids, and It's fun. I think it's exciting. I think there's just a lot of things yet that we,
What have you
as educators, we have to learn.
Yeah, let me just jump in because I'm curious about, I coach a hockey club, and so I'm around 60-ish teens every single week, and coaches are having this same conversation. Like, what's engaging for kids now? How do we motivate children now? Y'all must have some opinions about that.
And this might be just my opinion, but it's I believe building relationships with kids.
Yes.
I've seen it for the years I've been there. Is the teachers who build relationships with kids, the kids tend to do better in classes.
Interesting.
And those relationships, I think, also promote trust. Also promote just people being genuine. And I think that by far that relationship piece is probably the most important part to engagement. Obviously, a lot of hands-on, projects and things like that in class. But the reality is really building those relationships with students, but also building relationships with families.
So is that the answer to the question? What motivates kids these days? And the answer may be relationships.
I truly believe that.
I love that answer.
I believe that's probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest.
Right, and Donna
piece.
said something in our last interview that kind of carries over to this conversation. She was talking about how we do what we think they want, but we don't ever say, like, what do you want or what do you need, right? And that is what happens in relationship. You kind of learn how to assess their needs and take care of their needs.
Well, and there needs to be some reflection, and I think that master teachers have found a way for kids to self-assess, but also more so reflect, as leaders at the high school, after every event or after, whatever, testing and things like that, as educators who are in positions of leadership, is you got to take a step back and you got to reflect what worked, what didn't work, what could we do better, because there isn't anything that we're perfect at, and it's really just looking at what is better for kids, and go from there.
Love that, man. All right, Steve, hit him with some softballs.
You've seen trends come and go. What's the one thing about students that's never changed?
Their smile.
I love that.
When you make a connection with a kid or a student, is the ability to, again, build that relationship, but to have, when you have that aha moment together, if it was in a classroom, because I taught special ed for 5 years, and then I was a counselor for another 5 years at Desert Vista, is once when you see that light bulb go on in their eyes and they have that smile, like, okay, I got this, or I realize this, or something to the effect where they can make a positive change for themselves. That's the most rewarding.
I love that. And a follow-up, from coach to counselor to assistant principal, which role taught you the most about people?
Coaching, for sure. I learned a lot during, 10, 11 years that I coached baseball at Desert Vista, and that is the relationship piece. I truly believe, and I tried to take this into the classroom, into my counseling, and also into administration, is, again, I'm kind of like a broken record, but the relationship piece is so key. When I coached, I tried to coach kids and mentor those kids to do things for themselves, which was a positive impact for the team. And by doing that I wasn't a screamer, I wasn't a yeller, but we had genuine conversations, if things weren't going as well as we should. But then getting back to some of that reflection pieces, as a coach, what I enjoyed was reflecting. If the kids didn't perform, it wasn't the kids' fault, it was my fault as a coach, because that just means I didn't prepare them well enough.
Yeah.
So,
any shout outs, any alumni, any of your favorite athletes you've coached?
I can't do favorite athletes, but I'll tell you what.
You guys keep talking, and I'm going to look up a slide that I show.
How about any
year.
favorites that come out, just people that did some special things?
I can share a little bit of some things that are some athletes who have gone far beyond just
That's what I'm looking
high
for,
school
yeah.
and even college. You know, we've had Devon Kennard was one of the highest recruiting defensive players in the state of Arizona and in the nation.
What made him? What was special about him?
You know, he was amazing because he was the complete package. He was a 4.0 student. He was as gentle and kind as anybody I've ever known. And athletic ability was just off the charts. He suffered pardon me, but I forget exactly the injury. I believe it was an ACL tear in high school his senior year. You know, he goes to USC. I believe he got hurt there for part of a season, if not a whole season, then gets drafted to the NFL for the Giants, and just a perseverance, but gentle. And he still comes to the school sometimes and do some
That's great.
speaking engagements for us. And
That's
and,
that connection
and
that
things
you're talking about.
Yeah.
So when we do the DV presentation for hockey every year, I put up this slide, and it's the DV standouts, and so and then I have this slide, after it that says like, "Are you next?" And so there's been, I don't know how you say her name, Christy Anigwe. She plays for the WNBA. Jacob Brugman played Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
Brendan Clark played in the NBA. JJ Delman played in the NFL.
You know all
Jalen
these names?
Jelks.
All these names?
Yeah.
Jalen Jelks played in the NFL.
I was the athletic director during most of these.
Devin
fantastic.
Kennard. Mark Kostelik is the only pro hockey player that they've got.
I know Mark. Actually, Mark's son plays for the Boston Bruins
I know.
now. Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Ed Kostelik. No,
Mark is his
Kostelik.
son.
Yeah, they're
Who
both
went to
NFL.
DV.
You know them both?
And then Oso Gadaro
Amazing.
plays for the Suns.
Yeah.
Like all these people
Yeah,
have
and then
rolled
we-
through
Some
the big
good
school.
pedigree. Good pedigree.
One of our first professional athletes was Corey Myers for the Diamondbacks. He got
Right on.
drafted, I think, 3rd overall, first round.
Did you have a chance to coach him?
I worked with him. I'm not getting. I can't give any credit because he was awesome.
I made him what he was. He said, TJ said, I made him what he was.
He wouldn't be anywhere without me.
But no, he when he played, it was always amazing because every time he always would use a wooden bat during batting practice, and it just sounded like a shotgun going off because when he just
man.
and it was effortless. And it was just
still
everything.
remember that.
Everything was in sync. Everything was in sync. Yeah, and you did not want to turn your back on him when he was hitting because it got to you pretty quick. So
Wow. Okay. So as we wind down a little bit on the segment, you must sit in meetings with the rest of your colleagues, and you say, "Man, if our community would only know this, or if we could just get our community to do this." Is there an ask of DV parents right now? Because I am a parent, right? And I'm part of a group of people that genuinely wants to be helping people and wants to be supporting you guys and wants to know how I can support you guys. Yeah. So what is the ask? What do you need from parents in 2026?
you know what? Trust.
So weird to say. Trust,
I think trust. Throughout the years, have seen a lot, obviously, transpire with the school and, some things outside of the school. And it's just the understanding that we're on the same team.
Right.
We're trying to be the extension, of what hopefully you are instilling into your son or daughter at home. And trusting us that even when things may or may not look the way that they want them to look, is to understand that there's still a trust. And just like in any relationship, you may not always agree, but there's always a trust that, hey, at least they have my son or daughter's best interest at heart. And I think it's not necessarily an ask of 25, 26. I think that's just human kindness
General
and
ask,
just being
yeah.
a human. And that, obviously nobody's perfect. But what we really want to instill is that extension of, we're working with the families to hopefully help their son or daughter, become educated, but also to make them a productive citizen after they graduate.
No. I love
So
that because
cool.
to me that's a throwback. I mean, again, like you talk about how things come around. Truthfully, when I went to high school, that's the way it was with my parents. I mean, they totally trusted the school and the teachers. And as a matter of fact, that was the day and age. I know it's not like that when the parents sided with the teachers. You had to worry about coming.
Oh yeah, the first question out of their mouth wasn't what did they do. It was like, what did you do?
You'd be talking
For
in
sure.
the meeting with the teacher, and your parent be like, yeah.
Right.
Let me talk to this teacher. And there's a lot of that got lost. And you're talking about so that's kind of what you're asking back. Like, hey, listen, we're still those same adults in the room. Societies might have changed, but we still got this. Is that sound right?
Absolutely, and it goes back to is that we're trying to work together. We're trying to have that collaboration and try to do what's best for kids.
Amazing, man.
Love
I know people are going to watch this interview and they're going to be so happy their kids go to DV,
Yes.
which I think is the goal, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Desert Vista is a great place.
We
and
got great experience.
I sent my two kids there, and
And then you sent them off to ASU, or they both got
my son graduated in 2010 from DV, and then went to ASU and graduated in 2015, and my daughter graduated from 21 from DV, and then graduated.
COVID grad.
Yeah. Oh, that was tough. That was a tough time, and even for her. But then she graduated this last May. So
congratulations, you got
thank
them through. You got them through.
You know what? That's all we ask as parents. You're just trying to set them up to have some opportunities.
That's awesome.
So good, TJ. Thank you for coming
Yeah,
on.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Really appreciate the invite.
Yes,
absolutely.
And thanks, of course, to Dr. Donna and Sammy Williams. Fantastic guest today, man.
Yeah, and our amazing list of partners now that we have to almost do a side segment every time we thank them.
No,
so
it's just
it's
important, right?
I love it.
You got to support the people that are supporting
Yes.
us. And so Amy Richardson from the Savvy Realty Group, Vero Pizza. If you haven't eaten dinner tonight, order a pie from Vero.
Favorite around here.
You won't be sad about that. Tutor Doctor doing Eden and Cravata. And then, of course, Bellisette Lingerie if you need a little something sexy to put on that body. Bellisette, we actually went there. We had a whole fashion show with the girls, and they showed off all their different designs.
We got to do that again. That was a fun show.
Yeah, it was a fun show. It was just cool to see
memorable.
how creative they are in lingerie and all of the things.
We had fun,
right?
and it was great for them.
You just want to look at the girls.
Local shop.
I know how that works.
Hey, I'm a single guy.
All right. Thank you again.
Thank
you,
Thank
Stephen
you.
Petz.
Stephen,
Learning new things
Yes,
here,
I love
and
it.
we'll
That's
see
from you,
everybody
brother.
for 67
Whatever that means.
coming up next.